ahead and we're going to go ahead and get started. Elliot's got this recorded, so we'll send it out to everybody when we're done. If you guys have questions, put them in the chat. Elliot's going to be monitoring the chat, texting me questions. I think we've got a good amount of questions already. Appreciate the team sending those in. And so I want to just give a quick update on the division. I'm just so proud kind of in this new role. Really just proud of Clay and Jeff and Ian and David Colgan's leadership and how well they're running their regions within our division. We have just surpassed 10 billion in fundings for the year within the Shelton division, if you will. And so I just want to give everyone that's on the call, our loan officers and LOAs and admins and juniors and just everyone in the sales department. Just want to give you guys a shout out, man. Like, you know, we love on our ops well, and I think we do a great job with that. But I just want to tell everyone on the sales team, thank you guys. I know that everybody has been running hard for the last 2 years, and you know, I know that can take its toll. So I hope you guys are resting plenty, drinking plenty of water, exercising, and taking care of yourself, because when you get on a 2-year run like this, and we're not planning on stopping, you got to take great care of yourself to keep going. And so with that, man, I just want to thank all the team members for all the hard work over the last 2 years. You guys have really crushed it. And it really means a lot to me. So we're going to jump into the call. Super excited to have Adam on today. Adam's going to be coaching us up on real estate agents. So Adam, why don't you start off with giving us just kind of a lay of the land of what your team looks like? I know, you know, you're obviously a top producer. Adam has closed 94 million year to date, and just told me prior to the call started he's gonna go over the $100 million mark before his birthday, which is in November. So huge shout out, man. Adam, that is unbelievable. Adam is 27 years old almost, and doing just a phenomenal job for us in that Providence, Rhode Island market. We're #1 in market share. Really proud of him. And Adam, man, I think you're going to provide a lot of value to the team today. So tell me, Adam, what's your team look like? What's the setup like? Your internal team at Movement?
Absolutely, yeah, no. So I'm super blessed. One of the best parts about being at Movement is they just give us the foundation to grow and the opportunity to grow, and that's really kind of what I've taken advantage of. I started out with just me and a shared LOA when I first got here, and as things started to grow, there was never a question from my market leader about giving me the opportunity to grow the team out. So we're up to 7 people now, including myself. So what that structure looks like is a front-end junior loan officer that handles the pre-approval process. I still, you know, help with the processing the applications, talking to the clients, but really gathering all the necessary documents to fully docking that file. We do that on every single loan prior to going under contract, you know, VOEs, transcripts, everything that we can get, we're getting up front. And that's what the junior handles. For contract to close, we have 3 teammates that handle it. Every person on the back end touches the file. So I don't run 2 different teams like A to M or, you know, an N to Z or every other. I have, you know, 3 people that touch the file. So I have a corporate processor, an LOA that handles borrower conditions, contract to close. And then I have a transaction coordinator that handles all third-party items, contract to close. So title, appraisal, HOI, make sure the ICD gets out on time. So those 3 folks handle from contract to close. And now I'm still overseeing all of that and jumping in when necessary, but they're really taking the reins with that, you know, the contract to close side of things. Then we have a marketing specialist that handles everything post-closing, and then just loving on our clients, loving on our realtor partners, managing the database. She's really a jack of all trades. She does so much for us. And we added her this year, and that really took us to the next level. Any events that we do, she plans those. So that was a huge addition. And then we also have another loan officer on the team as well that we added last year that's taken his business to the next level as well. So that's kind of the lay of the land. Everyone has a very specific role that they handle. It's kind of like the Patriots a little bit. Everyone has their specialty and they stay within that specialty and they just do a really good job. So yeah, I've been super blessed to have some amazing support.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So that's kind of what Adam's team setup is like. You know, for everyone out there that, you know, wants to do 100 million. That's kind of what's working for Adam. And kind of in his sweet spot right now. So today we're going to talk about realtors. Gaining realtors is hard. It's not easy. It's super competitive. Everyone is in. Talking to a guy at dinner last night. Everyone's in the mortgage space right now. Everyone's a realtor. Everyone's a lender. We feel like that'll change at some point, but right now there's so much competition in the marketplace. And so, Adam, let's just start with, man, how are you attracting realtors? When we're going to talk about how Adam's keeping them as well, because I think that's probably the hardest thing to do. Is it's probably easier to get a realtor than it is to keep one. So we'll get into that as well. But Adam, how are you currently attracting realtors right now?
Yeah, so it's changed over the years a little bit. So I guess I'll start with how I initially started getting realtors. So I moved from Boston to Rhode Island. I didn't, my friends and family are all up in Boston. It's about an hour away from Providence. So I didn't know a whole lot of folks. So my plan was just to be everywhere and to try to introduce myself to everyone. So, in the very beginning, I was doing open houses every weekend, popping into realtor offices, using any connection that I could to get coffee with folks. So, just messaging them on social media, just to try to get a sit down coffee appointment. That was really my goal when I first started in the business, just so that I could start slowly building that database of realtor partners and referrals, and things of that nature. So I really did that for the first 2 years. I tried to have 5 belly to bellies a week. So one-to-one appointments with realtors, any way that I could. So that's how I started. And it was definitely the shotgun approach. So I wasn't going super deep because I didn't know any folks yet. So I just had to meet with every person that I possibly could just to start getting at bats. Then I realized every time that I had coffee with a realtor, I would at least get one name, phone number, and email address. I'd get one at bat. Even if that never turned into anything and that was the only lead that I ever got from the agent, I would at least get one. So I figured out that if I wanted to take 30 applications or get 30 leads in a month, I needed 30 coffee appointments. And so that was kind of the approach that I went with in the beginning. Now it's changed a little bit. Things gotten a little bit busier. I can't be out and about every second of the day. So the biggest thing that we use now for attracting realtor partners is called in-transaction marketing. So that's been the thing that's been really taken us from, we were at like 43 to 45 million in 2019. We did 93 million last year. That was the thing that kind of got us to the next level, was really doubling down on in-transaction marketing. So just doing a phenomenal job with communication and closing the loan, right? So that's the most important part that realtors care about, is getting a loan done, but getting it done smoothly. So I was using the deals that I already had to go get more deals. And it wasn't just the buyer's agent, it was the listing agent as well. So some of my best relationships have come from a realtor that I met on the list side of the transaction. So over communicating with them, constantly giving them updates on where we were at, and then just closing loans early. That's all we do. I've really doubled down on my process. I'm obsessed with the idea of a perfect mortgage process. We're pretty close. We have a really good system. There's always room for improvement, but that's really got us new relationships right now, is just realtors see what we do when we're in a transaction and it's better than what they're used to. So that's led to more deals.
So, awesome. So, and I think you touched on this a little bit, but in the virtual world, and I'm not as certain, are agents starting to get back out and meet with people in person now?
Yes.
Can you kind of talk about that a little bit with with the market? Like, how are you meeting new agents kind of during COVID, working behind a computer screen?
And I wasn't. So, I was kind of lucky that we didn't have to do that as well, because we were so swamped with, just trying to serve our past clients and getting the refis pushed through, that I didn't really have time to go meet with realtors. That's where we really started doubling down on the in-transaction stuff. We didn't have to meet them in person, but I was constantly on the phone with them and staying in front of them. So, I really couldn't. That was tough. So for newer loan officers, that's a really tough time to jump into the business, just because, you can't really do that. But now that things have opened back up, people are more comfortable. I'm definitely getting back to it. I still do coffee appointments. It's just not as, it's not 5 to 10 a week like I was doing in the beginning.
Understood. Right. Got it. And probably because you're using more of that time of maintaining those relationships. So
yes.
One of the questions that came in, how are you able to get a deal or get a transaction in the first coffee meeting? How are you able to do that?
Yeah. So what I leverage was social media. So I was the youngest loan officer in Rhode Island when I first started. I started when I was 22, 23 actually. And so I was just trying to find younger realtor partners on social media. So what I printed out was, or I had on Excel, was every single realtor in Rhode Island in an Excel spreadsheet. And for like half hour a day, I would copy and paste it into Facebook just to try to find the realtor, add them as a friend, and then engage with them on social media. If they liked any of my posts or I liked their post, if they were, heavy on social media, I would just shoot them a DM, just complimenting them on their social media presence. And usually it was younger agents. So then just throw in something about how, being a millennial or being younger in the industry, is a good thing and how we use that to our advantage and all that jazz. Just trying to find like-minded people to myself. And then it was pretty easy to get coffee from there. Now I will say, as probably 10% of the people that I messaged would actually sit down with me. So one of the things is you can't be afraid of rejection with that, because there are going to be people that don't answer you or that schedules coffee with you and then never shows up. And it's just going to happen. But it's just the law of large numbers. So I was just firing off a bunch of messages to people, trying to get that sit down. And then when I got the deal, when I got that loan or when I got the lead, I just try to do a really good job with it. Because I kind of figured if I went through all that and then dropped the ball, or the loan got denied, or the client wasn't happy with me, that was probably going to be the last lead that I ever saw from that person. So I just took every deal, and I still do, like it's my last. I don't take anything for granted. And I just try to do a really, really good job on every loan for every person.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's key. And I think, team, what I'm hearing is he was aggressive. He asked for the business. I think a lot of times we get to the meeting and we're focused so much on, the meeting that we don't necessarily ask for the business, right? It seems simple. We all know to do it, but we forget to do it. I used to tell people I don't know, work for some people. I used to tell, realtors, because obviously we knock out a deal in 15 days at Movement. I would say, hey, give me 2 loans. First meeting, give me 2 loans. Because I'm gonna close the first one for you really quick, but I want you to show you that the first one wasn't a fluke. And so that was kind of my, they would kind of laugh about it, but I was like, hey, give me 2 loans. And so, and then obviously we try to bang those out, pretty quickly, and then, and then back it up again on the second one. And then once you do it twice, put them through our process twice, then, I think typically we've got it right. Execution is king. So to answer some of these questions, and I got a bunch of questions I want to get into as well, but one that came in is how are you communicating? I think you touched on it a little bit through DM, but how are you communicating with the listing agents? Was that when you get a contract in, are you calling them, Adam? Are you emailing them, or
Yeah, we're definitely calling them. It's before we even get a contract. So, I make it very clear to my realtor partners that when you're putting in an offer, either CC me on the offer or text me that you're putting in an offer and give me the listing agent's number. And I'll call that realtor and vouch for the client. We have a really intense upfront process. So all our clients are fully docked. We haven't denied a loan in the last 3 years. We closed the deals that, we send out a pre-approval letter that loan's closing. So I call the listing agent and just let them know, what we're about. The client's really solid. We've done all the due diligence. That's the first precedent that I set. I'm right there. I'm not waiting for them to call me. Some listing agents will call, but I'm getting ahead of it and calling them right away when the offer goes in. Then when the offer is accepted, we have an email that we send out to the listing agent introducing our team, introducing Joanne, my loan partner, and just letting them know what to expect from us. And one of the expectations is just constant communication, early closings, early CDs, things like that. And then we're executing on that every single time. So it's really not hard what we're doing. It's just about being disciplined and staying consistent. I do the same thing every single day. I'm here at the same time every day. I leave at the same time every day. I try to take some time off when I can, but we're really consistent with everything that we do. And I think that's, what's made some listing agents impressed with our process.
Yeah, that's huge, man. Consistency builds habits, right? And golly, if you can build a habit that you do consistently, you can have great success in anything you focus on. So one question came in, Adam, do you go to your closings, or does someone on your team go to your closings?
I used to. Now they're starting to let us again, but even last week, attorneys send out something saying that only the buyer is allowed to go. So right now, no. I used to go to every closing, or tried to go to every closing. But right now, no one's going. No one's allowed to go right now.
Yeah. Okay. And then what are you doing right now specifically? Great question, Keith Freeland. What are you specifically doing on your database? So on your database marketing, what's working well?
So HomeBot's a huge thing for our past clients. So that's a big one. As far as our database is concerned, we're just making sure that everyone is being followed up on. It's really not, there's nothing crazy that we're doing with our database. It's just every lead is getting touched every day that needs to be touched. And then right when we touch the client, we touch the realtor. And that's on every file every day. So it's nothing crazy. I mean, we've teamed up with Handwritten, which is a service for like anniversary cards, birthday cards. We're sending out closing gifts for our past clients. We're sending them HomeBot, every month. So we're not doing anything crazy. We're just, again, staying consistent and doing it every day.
Okay, cool. So one question came in was, hey, I'm an LOA and I'm transitioning into an LO. What advice would you give to that person, Adam?
Yeah, so I think it just goes back to just leaning on the relationships that you currently have, and just getting out there. I mean, you got to be at every single event. You got to join every board of realtors that you can. Any networking event, you just need to be in front of people at all times. Let them know what you do. But then really, really focus on your process. Like, I can't stress that enough. My team probably gets sick of hearing it, but the process is what is important. No marketing, no CRM, none of that matters if you can't close a loan smoothly. So really focusing in on creating a great loan process for every individual involved. I mean, I'm talking about the insurance agents, the escrow officers, the seller. I mean, everybody. There's like 6 people that are on every deal that needs to know who you are, and how great your process is. So aside from the shotgun approach of you have to just get out there and meet with as many people as you can, just make sure you're focusing on the process. Because like I said, if you get a lead and you screw that deal up or it doesn't go smooth, you're never going to see that realtor again. So just really double down on your process. It's more important than anything else, in my opinion.
Yeah. So like one of the questions Mary Baca had is, you call on agents, sometimes they feel that loan officers are too salesy for them. How do you handle objections for meeting for coffee or lunch when they just don't want to meet? How are you handling that? Do you run into that often? And
yeah, it used to in the beginning when I would just like fire off like 30 messages a day. But I don't handle objections. I don't try to fight for a meeting. I'm not salesy. I don't look at this as a sales job. Personally, it's an advisory role without a doubt. I don't sell my clients. I don't have any sale tactics. When I met people for coffee, I didn't talk about movement. I didn't talk about loan programs. I mean, we had a good presence already. We had some OGs in Rhode Island that made a good name for ourselves. So pretty much for the most part, movement was known. But I wasn't salesy. I wasn't pushing movement. I was just trying to create an authentic relationship with those people, and that led to business. If they asked about movement or were intrigued by loan rescues or upfront underwriting or our speed, of course I'm going to talk about it. But I wasn't very salesy. I'm still not. And if they didn't want to meet for coffee, totally fine. I got another 6,000 agents that I can ask to coffee.
Understood. I think this kind of dovetails in it. How do you encourage the realtors not to give out more than your name as a lender? So, you meet with agents, they're like, hey, I'm going to give out 3 names. You're on my list. Work around that, Adam.
Yeah, it always starts like that, but it typically never ends that way. So you really can't stop them from doing that at first. But if you have a very good process and you over communicate and, take the speed to lead things seriously, you call them right away, you follow up, you are good at your job, and you explain things to the client and they really like you, the client really likes you, and that happens a couple of times, they'll stop giving out 3 numbers. They don't want to give out 3 numbers. They just want one person in their corner that they know can deliver. So it all goes back to just executing once you get that lead. Fortunately, there's some not so great loan officers out there, either at banks or, Rocket or at Better or whatever the company is. it's not a ton of competition out there in a lot of cases that can do what movement can do. So let them hand out 3. I let realtors go if they want to go try someone else, they'll come running back super quick, after the deal doesn't go super smooth. So if you create an experience that's just better than what they're used to or better than what your neighbor loan officer does, they're going to come back, and they're not going to hand out 3 cards next time.
Yeah. Yeah. Good advice. It's when I was originating loans, I do remember sometimes letting a realtor go is a good thing, right? Because then they experience your process, Adam, or movement's process, if you will, and then they go experience somewhere else, and then they're like, wow, okay, the grass wasn't greener. And so I think when you're in a spot that Adam's in where he has confidence, listen, confidence is everything in sales. You can afford to let some people go. And I think sometimes, and I made this mistake as a loan officer, I held on to realtors too long, ones that wore me out, took up a lot of time. I was calling, 50 leads of people that were just kicking tires in their database. And, basically I was, like a junior on their team. And instead I was, wasting time doing that where I could have been calling on other agents. How do you deal with great questions coming in from the team right now, and keep them coming? How do you deal with agents that demand marketing money, dollars for leads and clients? How do you kind of navigate that, Adam? Do you play in that space or do you not?
We don't do that. We'll sponsor events with them. So that's kind of how we'll get away from like Zillow stuff. It's like, movement doesn't let us do Zillow or whatever the excuse is, but we'll definitely sponsor events with them. That's something that we absolutely will do. It's really good exposure for us. We've done a bunch of events with realtors this year. So we're not afraid to market. I have a marketing budget. You have to spend money in this business. You have to treat it like a true business, So we'll definitely spend money with our realtor partners, but only if it's truly mutually beneficial, right? I'm not going to do Zillow with realtors, but I'll do events for their past clients. If they want to do a first-time homebuyer seminar, invite a bunch of folks, we'll buy the pizza, so I'm not afraid to spend money by any means, but we don't really play in that space. And, if that's what they want, then, I'm not the guy. But also there's some realtors that I've said no to. They go to another loan officer, they get the money, then they send me their personal referrals. So instead of like so it's, if they like your process, they like you, they're gonna do business with you, whether you're giving them money or not. And if they're not, then there's more realtors out there.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I keep hearing that you're solely focused on the relationship and less on the transaction, right? You build that relationship with the right agent, they're going to continue to support you. How many agents are you working with actively now, Adam?
So I still have the shotgun approach. I mean, I was just looking at it. I probably get at least 1 lead a year from like 250 to 300 agents. I would say that, I'm in there 3. And then my top agents, I would say I have like 40 to 45, like really solid relationships. Rhode Island's a small state. We don't have a ton of animals, like a ton of $100 million realtor beasts. We have a lot of really good 50 to 60 unit agents. So that's kind of what I'm mostly working with is, younger agents that do anywhere from 30 to 70 transactions. That's kind of my sweet spot. So I don't really have one realtor that's giving me $20 million worth of business. I was just looking at it. My top realtor partner this year is giving me $5 million in business. So I got a lot of relationships. Now I'm at the point where I am going deeper and I'm getting a bigger percentage of the people that I work with, but I am not, I think Rick said the same thing, the onesie twosie agents, those loans still count, those are still units. I'll take those all day long.
Sure.
I do a lot of education as well. So in some realtor offices, I'll teach CE classes and do presentations to new agents. So the new agents are onesie twosies just by nature, and I'll take them all. So I definitely have some that I go deep with, but I also have a big stable of realtors.
So if I was to poll those 45 agents that you work with, and if I asked them what's the number one strength of working with Adam Dellemonico's team, what would you say those agents would say?
I'd say the feedback from their clients is what keeps them coming back. Our motto with our team is that we may have 50, 60 transactions going on at any given time, but to every client, they have one. They have one deal. It's their most important thing that's happening in their life. They're buying a house and they only have one of those going on. So to each and every client, we treat them as if they're our only client. And that's how they feel. That's a lot of the feedback that we get from our clients, is that they felt that I was only working for them, or I only had their deal, in our pipeline. And that feedback from the clients to the realtor it makes the realtor look really good, right? Because the realtor referred them to me. The mortgage is the most stressful part of the process. We make that a non-stressful process for them. We make it enjoyable, not even just not stressful. We make it enjoyable. We make it fun. We build good relationships with the clients. That gets back to the realtor. And, then they're a partner for life, after they have a few raving fan clients. Because that spurs referrals for them too, because then they're talking to their family and friends about it. And, that just leads to the next transaction.
Right. So and this is going to come back a little bit full circle. And I know I'm kind of rapid firing on questions. By the way, team, if I miss some of your questions, put them back in the chat again so I can try to, there's quite a few coming in. So I've heard you talk about the perfect loan process quite a bit, Adam. What role are you playing in that right now? And what advice would you give to, loan officers out there that are wanting to grow a team and developing a team? And what role are you playing right now within the team?
So right now I'm doing a little bit of everything. So, the main thing for me is establishing the initial relationship with the client up front. They came to get a loan from me, so they want to hear from me. So I'm spending time initially with clients, just explaining the process, making sure I understand their budget, what they want to spend, what their goal is for purchasing. So I'm spending an initial conversation with the client, up front, making sure that they've heard from me. They know that I'm here and they can text me or call me or whatever. And then once we get under contract, it's just little touch points, making sure that they're comfortable, but mostly it's following up with the realtors, more so than the client. My loan partner, Joanne, is absolutely amazing, like best in the business. So I'm probably too involved. She probably thinks I'm too involved if you were to ask her, but I try to get out as much as I can. I can't help it. I'm just, I love this job. I love what we do. So I'm too hands-on, but I'm just making sure that everyone knows what their goal for the day is, their goal for the week is. I send out a pipeline to my team every morning of some tasks that need to get done for the day. So it's really just managing the loans that are in process, make sure that they're all going smoothly, that our files that are closing this week are all set. Clients know their numbers, the realtors got it all scheduled. But then also at the other half of my day is curating the leads, calling new clients, making sure that the clients that are in process are comfortable. So it's really just a lot of touch points, and I try to be on the phone all day. That's really my goal, is be on the phone all day.
All right, perfect. So we've got obviously a lot of loan officers on the call. I think we have a few guests to the call. Welcome to the call for folks that are taking a look at maybe potentially coming to work at Movement. What's the single best thing you would tell a loan officer that's considering moving their career to Movement, Adam?
Oh man, yeah, no, this company's amazing. So everyone wants to close the loan. Like there's no cog in the wheel at all. You need help, someone's there for you. It's amazing what we can do, with this team. The ops is just, it's amazing, especially last year when it was just sheer mayhem. I mean, ops people were working 12-hour days. Everyone is so dedicated that there's just, I don't know how I could ever do a loan anywhere else. I'm a huge advocate of this company because everyone from the top down has the same mission and the same goal. And it's a special place to work.
Man, maybe we should have just wrapped the call on that right there. Adam, that's a great answer, man. How many hours a week are you working right now, Adam?
So, I'm still young. I have huge goals for myself. There are people that do what I do in a year and a month. Champanosian's 45 minutes from me. He's the number one loan officer in the country, closed 1.7 billion last year, 3,500 loans. He's in my backyard. He averaged 140 million a month. So I still think I have a very long way to go before I've hit my goal. So I'm still grinding. I'm still putting in 10 to 12 hours a day. I would say I work weekends, but I love it. It doesn't really feel like work to me. We have a pretty cool job. We look at houses all day. We help people with one of the most exciting times in their life. So I just truly love it. So I'd say 50, 60 hours a week, I would say, but it goes quick. I mean, everyone knows that. You look up and it's 3:00.
Sure. Yeah, I know. Right. It's the 27th of the month, right? Where did October go?
Where did 2021 go? You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Great questions coming in. Do you have a business coach now, Adam?
So I coach with Tim Davis. So he's my primary coach. So that's what I got.
Awesome. What CRM are you using now?
I don't use a CRM. So I mean, I'm starting to get more as Move Home progresses. I'm definitely going to jump on board with it and start using it. But I really don't use a CRM. I mean, I have HomeBot and then I have an Excel spreadsheet. You know, that's what I work out of. And I know that's a flaw of mine for sure. We don't have a ton of automation. A lot of it's manual, what we do. And that's why I'm probably working the hours that I'm working. So that's how I started, was with this Excel spreadsheet, and the growth has kind of gone faster than I really expected. So I haven't had a chance to kind of take a step back and invest in a CRM. So I don't have a CRM right now.
Okay, cool. Elliot, we got to get Adam on Move Home. So how are you using, one of the questions, Pat O'Leary, hope you're doing well. It's got to be a little bit warmer in Hilton Head, South Carolina, where he's at, than where you're at in Rhode Island today, Adam. How are you using Domo? Are you using Domo to run your pipeline?
Domo is the most important piece of my business for sure. So that's what I do every morning. It's the first thing that I do. I pull the LOA pipeline, and that has all the dates for your active files. So from title order to your lock expirations, to your commitments, to your approval expirations, appraisal order, appraisal receipt. So everything is right there. So what I'll do every morning is I'll print it to Excel. I'll pull it into Excel. There's some formatting that you have to do with that to make it look all nice and pretty. But that is without a doubt the most important part of our process, is that Domo sheet. I actually did a video, I think Ian probably has it, of like a screen share of how I pull it, how I format it, and kind of what that looks like. So I think we can send that out. I think Ian has it somewhere. But that's the most important piece, because those are all your dates that you need to hit. That's the only thing that you need to do for a loan, is make sure all the dates are in that Domo sheet. So that's what our team operates off of. I set that up every single morning. It's the first thing that I do, and that gives my team their tasks for the day. So yeah, I use Domo religiously. I'm in there all day. I also love looking at numbers and stuff, and like I know like everyone's numbers and everything.
We are in the numbers business, right? Numbers matter. So yeah, team, we will get we'll get that out. Ian, if you wouldn't mind, see, you said you'll find it. If you wouldn't mind, share that with Elliot. And when we send out the recording of the call, we'll share that with the team as well. So for LOAs that are transitioned to becoming LOs, and man, I know that ops loves LOAs transitioning to LOs, right? Because they turn in clean files. So where did you get ideas for connecting with realtors? So aside from coffee or meeting one-on-one, like where would an LOA go to get some good ideas of how to connect with realtors?
Hammer your open houses in your area. You know, that's a really good, now that there are open houses again, you know, that's one thing that I did. And then I joined every networking group that was possibly out there. So those are really the ways. If you know, aside from social media and reaching out to them via DM or phone call, you know, open houses and then networking events are the best ways to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get back on track a little bit here. Great questions. And I knew everyone obviously wants to know, you know, what the team looks like, what role you play in the team when you're doing 100 million, because I think that's a benchmark for a lot of people. How are you maintaining 45 realtor relationships, Adam? Let's kind of talk about that. How are you consistently doing that?
So a lot of it is, it's just our natural day. So I have leads that I need to call from realtor partners. So I'll call the lead, I'll call the realtor. Whenever you call a lead, you got to call the realtor to update them. So that's just by doing the follow-ups and the phone calls and the, you know, reaching out to the leads, that automatically makes me call the realtor. So I'm sure there's some realtors that I haven't talked to in a little bit, but they'll come back, they always do. So that's really the way that I stay in touch with them the most. The other thing that I do that I send out every Monday is a Monday morning market update to my realtor partners. There's 250 realtors on that list that I send it out to. And it's essentially just a write-up of, anything that's important in the mortgage industry. And then it has, top tier rates as well. So just letting them know anything crazy. It was great last year because everything changed with guidelines and, bond programs and debt to income and all that jazz. So I was keeping all our realtors up to date on anything mortgage related. So I'll use things like, CNBC or MBS Highway or, Rate Watch or any of those online sites. I'll usually read on a Sunday, type it up on a Sunday, and then I send it out first thing Monday morning. So every single one of my realtors that I've ever done a deal with that's ever sent me a lead is on that list. And they just get that report once a week. So I do it on a Sunday. I send it out on Monday. It's, other than the pipeline, after I do my pipeline to my team, it's the first thing that I do on Monday morning. And I just I just did it in a Word document, exported it to a PDF. Christina, my marketing manager, has made it a lot prettier than it once was. It was literally just like a Word document with some sentences. She made it look all nice and pretty now. But don't overthink that. I know I'm sure going to get a lot of questions about like what that looks like, but it's literally, we talk about mortgages all day. I'm sure people look at the news and read about mortgages. All I do is take some notes, put it in a PDF, and I send it with our rates, and that's it. So don't overthink that. But that's a really good way to add value from afar. I'm not being annoying and calling them every day. I'm just giving them some value adds that they can then share with their clients. And that's it. Then I'm off. And I don't know if those realtors ever read it. I get good feedback about it, but I'm sure some people just send it to spam. But it's just something that I do consistently. I haven't missed a Monday in 3 years. So something that I do every week.
I hope you guys are hearing this. Lots of consistency, right? Consistency compounds. And Adam, you're doing a phenomenal job of that. What is the number one thing must do? My good friend Vicki Williams said that you would recommend for retaining realtor partners.
I think everything goes back to what we said just about your consistency and really just trying to wow the client. I mean, if you create a raving fan from the client, that realtor partner is going to stay with you. Always hype up the realtor when you can, over communicate, in the transaction, and then just slam dunk the file. Those are all the things that we do.
Yeah. Awesome. How are you? Do you do events? I know you said you do some sponsorships, like if the realtor's having an event. Adam, do you host your own events at all where you're inviting realtor partners, and what does that look like?
Yep. So obviously couldn't do it last year, but we have one big event each year. It's we rent out an apple orchard. We had 250 people there this year. It was an awesome event. So it's all of our past clients and some of our top realtor partners. And it's a great day of fall activities, so there's a wagon ride, they get pumpkins, they go apple picking with their family members. So that's our big event for the year. We just did that, and that was a huge hit. And then as far as the realtors are concerned, I'm CE certified. I don't know if every state you're allowed to, but I teach realtor CE classes. So that's something that I also will turn into events. So like we're renting out a bar and doing a 2-hour CE class and then having a happy hour afterwards. So if you can teach, if you're able to be a CE instructor, I know in some states, I think it has to be an attorney. I'm not 100% sure of that, but getting CE certified in Rhode Island is very easy to do. Then you create a class. I have 2 classes that I teach, and I'll take those to realtor offices. I'll, do them at a local bar. And that's just another great way to show yourself as an expert in the field, add value, without being, super cheesy. They got to do their CE. They're due in May of 2022 in Rhode Island. So it's definitely a value.
I never even thought about, dude, that is phenomenal, man. Mary Baca, there's an answer to your question that you don't want to be salesy, provide value, right? And teach CE, man, that is huge. I mean, gosh, how many agents show up for that thing, Adam?
Oh, I mean, when I did it just on Zoom last year because we couldn't do them in person. I think I had my one Zoom, I had like 125 agents on there or something like that. It was like nuts. And this CE one will I think our max is 50. in that building, that'll sell out in a week. We'll have to do another one. So I'm just taking those to different realtor offices too, because it's CE time. Like this is a great time for me. It's every 2 years. And this is a really good stretch from now till May. I try to teach these classes as much as I can. So yeah, I teach an appraisal class that goes over like rebuttals, subject to stuff, appraisal gaps, everything down to like how much an appraisal costs, like everything that realtors want to know about appraisals, I'll teach in that class. And then I'll do a mortgage 101 class that just basically talks about, some things like I'll go into DU, I'll explain DU to them so they have a better understanding of what we go through with the client and how they can help us, create a smoother process from, making sure like EMDs come from the client and not from like a friend, or they don't give the EMD in cash and, things like that. So
yeah,
those two classes have been huge.
that's awesome, man. And, Barry Habib always talks about being the trusted advisor. What a great way to be a trusted advisor than teaching realtors CE. I would imagine, do you have agents come up to you after the CE like, hey, I need you to pre-qual this person. I need you to...
All the time. Yeah, it's like fishing with dynamite, honestly. That's a really good thing to do.
That's awesome, man.
They just see you as the expert. If they have questions, that's the one thing that I always tell new agents and even seasoned agents. If they have questions, like people will call me on deals that I'm not on all the time, and I'm happy to, talk to them through, what's happening or, what their issues are. So, education is a great way to add value without being salesy.
Yeah, man, that is huge. And so it does vary from state to state. So, do your research if that's something that you want to do. And we obviously have a lot of states represented here today. So great questions. We got more coming in. One question, and I know I used to deal with this a little bit, is when I was originating and had a team, how do you make the handoff to your team without the real estate agent feeling like you're blowing them off? Meaning, some realtors they want to talk to Adam, right? They want to talk to Adam. They don't want to talk to anybody else on the team. How do you make that transition with your team so that that realtor feels like that they're getting the love, if you will?
I'm still there for them. But most of my realtors are comfortable with it. There's some, that'll just always call me for things, and some borrowers that'll still only call me for things. But a lot of my realtors like Joanne more than me, probably, I would say, if you were to ask them. So hire people that are better than you, so, it's just constant, just letting them know that, Joanne's my partner. We do it together, and it's not like call Joanne, don't talk to me. I make it very clear, if you need anything, call or text me. But if there's anything document related or, questions about the in process, feel free to, give Joanne a call. So just making sure that you present yourself as a team. I'll never say the word assistant ever. It's not the role. It's a partner. That's, what we built. So they just feel like if you tell them that's how the process goes, they don't know that, they just assume that that's how it's supposed to be. So just presenting it in a way where you're still there for them. But now they just have another person that they can call as well if I'm tied up.
Yeah, and I know that one all too well. Linda Plymell, that a lot of folks on the call know. I mean, when we were originating, realtors would call her directly. They wouldn't call me, and it kind of became a running joke. They're like, well, if I need the information, I'll call her directly. And I think that's a place that we all want to get to, right? Because then that frees you up to spend more time with realtors. So how do you answer the question, we have an inside lender? How do you work around that?
Like a desk rental or something like that?
No, yeah. So like if you're calling on an agent and they're like, oh, we have we have a loan officer in our office. How do you handle that?
Again, I'm not really salesy. So if that's what they got, then that's what they got. I'm going to try my hardest to earn the business, emphasis on the earn the business, and if I see them on the other side of a transaction, I'll try to wow them. But there's really nothing you can say to those type of people. There's no magic script or a sales line that you can drop that they're just going to drop their lender and come to you. You just got to show them. That's why everything goes back to the perfect process and creating a really good system. It's because people will just flock to you. That's what it is. That's the best way to get business. Is the best realtor partners are the ones that want you for your process. They want you for how you close a loan. They don't want you because, you buy things for them or you take them to lunch. They want you to do your job, well. And so if they got an inside lender, they'll be back. Maybe they won't, but if they see us out in the field, if they give us a shot, they'll see.
Yeah. Well, and that comes down to relationship versus transaction. So a lot of questions come in on the CE. Are you creating your own content for the CE, or is that something you get?
Yep. You have to run it by so you create a class, you run it by the board of realtors, or whoever handles that. They review the class, make sure that it works, and then you're done. So at least in Rhode Island, they make it pretty easy on you. It's not too hard. Creating the class took the longest. So I just sat down on a Saturday and banged out the 2 classes. One's a 2-hour class, one's a 1-hour class. Again, not much to it, but yeah, I made my own.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So one of the questions came up is, what's your volume? We talked about that at the beginning of the call. So it basically right at 100 million.
Yeah, I'll finish out like 115 ish.
115 in volume. What's your best advice for someone wanting to go from 15 million to 25 million or 25 million to 50 million?
Doubling down on what's been working. So, really treating your business like a business, knowing where all your leads have come from, being able to find out what works, and then just doubling down on it. And then once you do that, you got to invest in your business, you got to invest in yourself. So, when I got to 30 applications a month, that's when I hired the junior. That was about 3 years ago. And I definitely took a step back in income because it's a new expense that I have to pay for, but that allowed me to get to the next level. Which, that's what I've done every single time that we've, hired on a support staff is, you take a step back to go forward. And every time that I brought a teammate on, we've gotten to another level. So, investing in really good people is what it's all about. So my junior was the first person that, we hired, and she's still with us, and she's a rock star, so that's what it's all about, is just, getting to a point where you need help and then taking the leap to hire help. And that's really scary. And I've talked to a few loan officers that have reached out that are getting to that point, and you have to take that jump. You can't do it yourself. So getting to the point where you pull 30 credit reports a month, you need to hire a junior at that point. That's at least my opinion. That's what I did. And that really got us my first year in the business. I did 17 million by myself. And then the second year when I hired a junior, we did 43. And then we went to 93, and now we'll do like 115. And, we've just been adding support, every step of the way. So
how many years have you been in the business, Adam?
My first day as a loan officer was June 1st of 2017. So 4 years and 4 months or something like that.
4 years and 4 months, 100 million, man. Unbelievable success. So some of the questions have come in is, like you just talked about it, like taking that next step. Not everybody on the call has, a team built out like you do. You said you invested some of your own personal money in growing your team. And then, I'm sure, over time, as you grew your business, then the company, reinvested some of that money with you.
100%.
So what you would say to everybody out there is spend some money to scale, right? One step backwards for 10 steps forward. And then what in your head, like how many loans do you need to get to add a new team member to your team? Is there a number?
So what we've really it's like around 5. It's like 5 to 6 a person. So we're up to 7 supports total staff, and we do about 30 to 35 units a month. But we have bandwidth right now. It feels we're in a really good place to take it to even the next level. So we brought on our most recent teammate about 6 months ago, and we're done by like the 19th of the month every month, 19th, 20th, we're clear to close for the month. We're usually 7 to 10 days early on everything. So we have bandwidth. I know we can take it to the next level of, 40 to 50 units a month with the current staff that we have right now. Once we get up to 40 to 45, we'll look to add another member. But right now we're perfectly staffed for the volume that we're doing. And it's, everything's going really, really smooth. So I would say 5 to 7 is usually its sweet spot, is where you need to get to justify the cost.
So, and questions are coming in. We've got about 8 minutes left, and we'll cut right at the hour to be respectful of everyone's time. One of the questions I haven't had is, are you heavy on social media content as a form of branding and exposure? I think I know the answer to that is yes. How are you leveraging social now, Adam?
We're definitely using it. We're not using it as much as some, I would say. We're very present in our market. Rhode Island's a super small state, so pretty much everyone knows who Movement is or have heard of us. So I definitely use social media, but I don't go crazy with it. I'm not posting every day. We'll post maybe once or twice a week just to stay relevant, sharing our wins, celebrating our realtor partners, things like that. My marketing manager is probably shaking her head right now. She wants me to do more stuff, but we're working on it. So it's not. Yeah. We do use it, but we don't go crazy with it.
Yeah. And so 7 members on your team, I'm sure people are like, man, well, who all pays for that? Adam, I would imagine you've probably got some skin in the game on that as well, right?
100%. Oh, 100%. Yeah. It's about 50-50, between Movement and myself. But I couldn't do the volume that I'm doing, and you got to look at it like a true business. The head of Google isn't making all of the money that Google brings in. You gotta hire out staff to be able to take it to the next level. So, I just really look at this thing like a business. We have budgets. I have personal budgets for the team and, for everything. But I absolutely, we split the cost for pretty much everything.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Invest in your business. I think that's something we can all do a better job of. So a lot of questions coming on your junior. Is your junior bringing in deals, or are they more following up? What is your junior doing within the process?
No, she's not bringing in deals. I mean, sometimes family and friends, but her job is to make sure that we have a qualified file. She's like a mini underwriter. She's been with us for like 3 years now. I've had her sit with some of our underwriters to learn. And every time we get an income calc back, she was reviewing it for self-employed for variable income and taking it step by step to learn. And now she's literally like a mini underwriter. So she makes sure that the deals that I'm bringing in before I send out a pre-approval letter are deals that are going to close. And we've denied one loan at Movement, and it was December of 2017. And that was the only loan we've ever denied. December of 2018. It's the only loan we've ever denied. I messed up on it. And since then, we've never denied a loan due to something that we missed. And that is 100% on Noelia, the front end of the process. So that all goes back to the perfect process. It starts right when you get an application. My realtor partners know nothing makes me more frustrated when they don't give me enough time to do a full approval on a client. I need a couple of days. Don't call me and say they want to put in an offer. It still happens, but we'll still work with it. But we try to fully dock a file up front, and that is 100% Noelia, the junior.
Got it. Okay, cool. 4 minutes left, Adam. So why don't you kind of wrap us up? We've had some great questions, and team, sorry if I didn't get to all of your questions. Be glad to maybe, assemble those, Elliot, and send them out to Adam, and then we can share with the team. We'll try to get you guys all the information, that was shared here. Obviously the call is going to be recorded, but Adam, talk to me about realtors. So it was a point of the call, and I know we had a lot of team questions, which is great. And honestly, I think maybe one of our next LO Uncovered will focus, on someone and we'll talk more specifically about teams. Talk to me, Adam, what your plan is going forward to scale your business. Are you going to double down on calling more realtors? Or are you going to ask more of your current realtors? What does that look like, Adam?
We're definitely, the plan is to double down and get more realtor relationships, and help my current realtors succeed. But we're going to do, more CE classes, more events. Again, just doubling down on making sure our process is airtight. Everything that's worked up to this point, we're not going to deviate from it. We're not going to try to recreate the wheel. We're just going to, I know what's working. I know what's gotten me to this point, and it's just doubling down on that. So I'm back to bellies, getting out there as much as I can. hosting those, CE classes and those events, and just, pouring in, and just trying to take to the next level. I'm not even really close to where I want to be. And there's, I'm super grateful for what we've done up to this point. But it's just, in my opinion, it's just the tip of the iceberg. So it's just doubling down.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I see a lot of humility in Adam, and I would imagine that's probably a big part of your success, man. No ego, a lot of humility. Any parting words, Adam, for the team of growing their realtor business, and any kind of final messages?
I'd just say the biggest takeaway is again, making sure your process is airtight, but truly treat every file like it's the only file. To that client, it's the only deal that they have going on. It's the only thing that they care about. And everything we do is around making sure the client is comfortable and happy at the end of the day. So, if you do that, everything else will solve itself. Your realtors will be happy. Your clients will refer you to their friends and family. But it all starts with taking it seriously, taking accountability for the loan. I have a team of people, but I got to make sure that I'm not a hands-off loan officer, that I just throw it down and, hope it closes. So just take accountability for your loans, make sure you're doing your job and putting your staff in a position to succeed themselves, personally and professionally, and just double down on the process. Movement gives us the best roadmap we could possibly have. So just really dialing in, staying consistent, and being disciplined.
Awesome, buddy. Adam, man, I want to thank you for the entire division. And man, we were up to 250 people on the call, man. So a lot of people got a lot of wisdom out of you. And you're a young guy having a lot of success, man. Continued success. Appreciate the time. And thanks so much, buddy. Great seeing you today.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Take care.